What's up everyone, Frittz here again with another episode of Sneakerhead Ambition, and today I'm just going to do a quick video on a topic that I think is very helpful to a lot of people, and it's just going to be based on the expectations that somebody could have right now if they were going to start botting, the realistic financial expectations, the benefits of starting right now, the negatives of starting right now, just based on different times in the past. And I'm just going to try to give you a realistic picture of what you could expect to accomplish if you were to start or pick up botting about when this video is being filmed, about midway through 2023. So overall, I think that starting to bot right now is a good thing, but I need to be clear about what I mean by that, right? So expectations. If you're going to come into sneaker botting right now, right, I really personally believe that your goal over the next year, let's say you started tomorrow, right? I think your goal for the next year, to be quite honest, would be to break even. That might sound negative, pessimistic, hating, whatever y'all want to call it. If you think that that's the way I think and that's the way I, conduct myself and think personally, you're wrong, right? I set really high goals for myself. I go after them, have been very successful with the goals that I've set. But I'll be honest with you, less than 1% of people who go into this are able to scale at any point, right? And I just want you all to realize that. I'm gonna break down what I think are the good or the positives to starting right now in this video, like I said, but you just need to be realistic, right? Are there people that do get into this with sneaker botting and kill it within a couple months? Yes. But are there exponentially more people that get into this, fail completely, and are out within 3, 6, 12, 24, 36 months? Yes. Like I said, it's less than 1% of people who really get into this. So just know the expectations. I really think, I wasn't making a bunch of money after a year of botting at all. Quite frankly, at a year I'd lost money, but I'd made progress. But I'll get into more of that now, but just have clear expectations, right? Again, I'll go into more depth now, but just know what you're getting into before you dive in thinking that, oh, I'm gonna be rich running sneaker bots. We'll see. Now, like I said, if you haven't heard my kind of story and the path that I took to get here, I just wanna lay it out to you all really quickly, all right? Do I resell sneakers and bot full-time now and do this for a living? Yes. Did I get to this point within 6 to 12 months? Absolutely not. I started reselling sneakers in late 2018, right? Late 2018. I found that it could be something that could be positive or could be very profitable. So in 2019, I was able to do a little over $100,000 in sales off of just like Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, and a little bit of Nike outlets, right? Over time, grew that to Nike outlets, then started botting, right? So I've been botting now for about started halfway through 2019, dabbling. So I've been botting now for almost four and a half years. But like I said, I lost money the first 6 months I bought it, right? I can't stress to y'all enough how hard this is to learn. I don't know who people are out there who think it's easy. I guess they're just way smarter than me. But, it's something that, if you really think about it, right? I had a full-time job as a teacher. I was a personal trainer for 20 hours a week. And I was reselling all of those shoes from those outlets and discount stores, right? I had a lot of cash flow and was living below my means to funnel money into this to start, while again, I still had cash flow. I don't want to give you all a fake impression that this is easy to do and you can jump in and in a couple months you're gonna be killing it, making a lot of money. I just don't think that's realistic. I don't think even if you had direct help with me that it's realistic. I don't think if you have direct help from anybody, it's realistic almost. Unless, you're a coder and there's just, the odds of you being great at this off the bat are slim to none. Can you get really good at this over 6 to 12 to 24 months? Yeah, 100%. I'm not telling you not to try this. What again I'm trying to get through on this video is that if people are going to start botting, right, they need to know what they're getting into. Like I said, I didn't start hitting 5-10 pairs of shoes until I was like a year per drop, right? Until I was a year or so into this. So just know that, right? I didn't just jump into botting. I don't do much content on this channel on my in-store with outlets and discount stores and where I sell those and everything, right? This channel is mostly botting, but like know that that's going on in the background too. That's still well over 50% of my total sales. So just again, have cash flow, have another job. I worked like 90, 100 hours a week for several years, right? Before I went into this full time. And it took a lot of work. So just, again, clear expectations, honest expectations, right? Just keep that in mind when you're thinking about getting into this in 2023. And again, I'm not trying to scare you all off. I think that it's a good time to start. And like I said, I'm going to get into those reasons in a second. I'm kind of rambling on this point right here, but like just have those expectations, right? I know it can look like when you watch somebody that, oh, they've been doing this for a year or two. No, I've been at this for like 4 years now, right? And I really didn't feel like I knew what I was doing until 1.5, 2 years in. So just getting that out of the way. Just know that that was kind of my path to this point, right? I didn't just jump into this, killing it with no other streams of income. So just know that. All right, so some of the negatives are, I guess, just the truth about the situation out of the way. But I will now get into the positives, okay? I think that there are 3 clear positives to starting right now that are very good in the sense of learning, right? Maybe not profitability off the bat, but your ability to learn and make mistakes is, you have a much wider margin for error in that, should I say, okay? So what do I mean by that, all right? Number 1, the software that you're going to be running is a lot cheaper right now. I can't stress to y'all enough how big of an expense this was for me when I started in 2019, 2020, 2021, right? The bots were ridiculous. They were absolutely ridiculous. $6,000, $7,000, just off, cheap bots that are now $50 were over $1,000. It was really expensive to even like get into the party or get into the club, let alone get your table, get your bot, right? Like it was really difficult because of the upfront cost, right? It's not so much that like the botting was so much different, but it's a lot different game when you need to put up $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, $15,000 just to get the piece of software to play the game. All right. So I can't stress enough that you can get good bots now for $100, right? Some of the best bots for the best bot, $300 or so, right? That's a major win for those of you who are trying to learn. All right. I understand the economy's not doing well and people don't have that much cash right now, but regardless, right, that makes it, if you do have money and are looking into this, that's a major plus. 2, you don't need as many resources to run the bot as we used to. The situation now with a lot of the sites that you're running, since Yeezy Supply is kind of out the door, Shopify's you can hit with just resis, right? The only thing you need ISPs for at this point, and you can use them for a lot of things, is sneakers and farming. But you don't need to be spending thousands of dollars a month on proxies anymore, just the way the sites are right now. And if you're running on just Shopify and a couple other sites on one bot, you don't really even need a server. Do you need those things if you're going to scale up to the level I'm at and people above me and even people who have like moderate scale? Yes, right? Your expenses are going to creep up as your scale creeps up. But that's not who I'm talking to when I'm talking to people about, are you going to start botting in 2023? So the software, the bots themselves are actually affordable, which is a major development over the past couple years, which was not the case usually. Running the bots is a lot cheaper and a lot more affordable, all right? And the competition, there are less people botting, right? So you have a better chance on bigger drops to run and have some success, make your money back, and just rinse and repeat that as you get better, all right? When the bot prices were so much more expensive and there was way more people in the botting market and botting competitive scene, right? It was just a lot harder to get started. Now, was there more potential profit at that time? Absolutely. I'm not going to deny that, and I will address that in a second. But again, I didn't think then it was, even if you had $50,000 then, I don't think, I'll be honest with you, I had plenty of cash flow when I started in 2019. It didn't matter, right? It was learning how to bot the verbiage of everything, learning freaking Discord, learning what a proxy was, figuring out what the good proxy companies were, which bot ran on which site, figuring out the start times for different sites, the delays, right? It's a lot. Anybody, like I said earlier, anybody who tells you this shit is easy is lying or is just a genius. I don't, one of the two. I guess I'm somewhere in the middle. No, I'm neither. I'm not lying, and I'm trying to be honest with you, and I'm not a genius. But like I said, those three things, again, cheaper bots, cheaper cost to run, and less competition are all really solid benefits to starting right now if you want to learn this skill and be around when the market eventually does come roaring back, right? I've talked ad nauseum about that in a lot of videos, right? I don't think the sneaker market's going to be back to where it was for a couple years. I think in about a year, it'll return to being very profitable. Companies are going to cut their stock, right? Things are shifting. I would imagine sometimes towards the end of this year, we hit kind of rock bottom from a stock market and economic perspective. But the market will be back, right? I'm still making plenty of money. Other people are still making plenty of money. Are margins slimmer? No question. Are people dropping like flies? Absolutely. But you can still make it. And again, if you're going to learn, right, even if you started years ago when people were absolutely crushing it, you wouldn't have killed it right off the bat. It's just not a reasonable expectation. So again, I think that those three things are major positives to starting right now and can help you, again, have a wider margin for error when you are learning and trying to stay afloat, because botting is difficult and you are going to struggle. What I'll say about the negatives of starting right now, right? Pretty much the major and only one to me is just the profit potential, okay? I didn't spend all of this time going to stores, meeting these store managers, driving all around the state, staying up all night to learn how to run a sneaker bot and flop on my face and just do that over and over again. Like, I put more time into this than I put my master's in business. I put more time into this than any job I've ever had. Certainly more time into it than teaching, which I did for 10 years. I got into it because I saw that people could do, right? People could make 7 figures in sales. I sincerely believe if I was at the point I am right now with botting and it was 2018, I would easily eclipse 7 figures in sales. No, I don't think there's any questions asked. I've gotten very close to $500,000 in sales, right? And I know that if I continue this, right, I can continue to improve. I can continue to refine my business model. It's working well for me now. But what I'm getting at is the long-term potential was so obvious to me, right? Like, if I could see people hitting hundreds of pairs online, and there were more pairs to go after, the long-term potential was great in my mind. Now, are we in a time where that long-term or that large potential from a massive sales number has been dented due to the recession and the economy? Absolutely, right? I'm not afraid to admit that. I think it's relatively obvious. Anybody who tells you otherwise, again, is just clueless or lying. So that would be the big negative. Is I think it's silly for anybody to start off botting, like if they started off right now, and to think that they're going to make $100,000, $200,000 in sales and have any profit margin whatsoever in the first year. I think that that's delusional. Do I think that that's delusional after 2 to 3 years? No. I think that could be very reasonable. Do I also understand how fickle motivation is for humans, and that I think the number is around 80% of small businesses, which is what I'm running, which is what any of you are running who are really reselling, 80% of them are out of business in 2 to 3 years. So 80% of you who start this, at least, we'll be out of this in 2 to 3 years. Now, with that being said, that's a major negative in the short term. I mentioned earlier, if you start botting now, the market will return. All you need to do is look at just the history of the United States, right? We go through cycles. We have recessions, the market comes back. We have recessions, the market comes back. This is not new. This is not crazy. Some would argue this is going to be the biggest one. But regardless, America and the sales here are going to be fine. It might, we can argue about that. That's a different topic. But the market will be back. People didn't get sick of resellers. People don't have any money right now. That's what's going on. So that's definitely a negative, right? I'm not gonna lie. And the other issue is that it's gonna be difficult for y'all to scale, because if you start now, because there just aren't there, like Yeezy Day was a couple days ago, right? Or a week or two ago. There aren't as many days right now where you can just go off on pairs, and if you do really well off the bat, hit 100 or so, right? And I'll be honest with you, if you get into this and you start learning to bot, there's a lot of factors about botting that go into your success that have nothing to do with botting, right? What's your access to credit? How much cash do you have on hand? What does your selling network look like, right? How quickly can you get rid of the pairs? If you don't have any, there is a lot that goes into it. So it's not just learning the software, it's developing your entire business framework for how you're doing things. So again, I think that the two biggest negatives right now are definitely the profit potential in the next year or so. I don't think it's very high for most people. Am I saying that nobody's making money in reselling, that I'm going under? No. But you can't compare yourself immediately to people who've been doing this for a long time. To compare yourself to me initially is ludicrous, right? If you want to start off and be like, I'm going to get to where I am right now in several years, I'm going to cheer you on, help you as much as possible, and tell you to go for it. But if you think you're going to do it in 6 months, you're just wrong, right? This took half a decade for me, right? Like, I've got sponsors that help, that give me stuff for free to run, right? Like, it's just, I just want you all to make good decisions, right? I want you all to make informed decisions. So just know that the negatives are there, but I do think that for a learning environment, if you have some of the cash, if you've got some cash flow, you've got some starting capital, you've got some cash flow, and you have the patience to stick this out, I think it can be a good time to start from a learning perspective, if you can push through until the end when the larger profit potential does return. Can you make money? Yes. Are the days of hitting, hundreds of pairs on multiple drops a month that are all extremely and obviously profitable still here right now? No, but that's okay, and I just want y'all to know that. So like I said, just to sum this up, I think it's a good time to start if you have realistic expectations about how long it's going to take to get to where you want to go, and where you should get after 6 months, a year, 2 months, right? And again, I can't stress this enough. I see people be like, botting's not that hard. I don't know what these people are talking about, right? I can't stress this enough. This is extremely difficult. It was outrageously confusing to me at first. I do believe I'm a quick learner. I'm a fast reader, right? Like, I can digest information quickly, but just quite honestly, most people don't have any semblance of a background that's going to lend itself to learning this stuff quickly. It's just really hard, right? I tell people this all the time. This was exponentially harder and more frustrating for me to learn than getting my MBA, Master's in Business, right? And I had no business background, so I had to work very hard at that. Like, I was a freaking PE teacher, I've told y'all that didn't do anything. It's tough. So just know that. And again, just let me know if you got any questions on this. I'm more than happy to help y'all out. I would watch some of my older videos, like bot rankings, like what it takes to really, like the things that really matter botting, how I do setups, right? How I plan out drops. There's a lot of content on here that aren't live cops. I also think you should watch the live cops so you know what you should be clicking on and what things should look like and the timing of everything. But the mindset and the business framework that you have going in is much more important than that. I do believe that anybody can learn this. I really sincerely believe that, but I also believe it takes a while. So just I want y'all to have that clear picture of the situation before you jump into this. And like I said, I'm here to support everybody. I really want people, if they want to try this, to have the best shot at succeeding. But you know, like I said, if you've got ridiculous expectations, like, you're going to quit quickly. If you know what you're in for, you're much more likely to stick it out and have an achievable plan, right? SMART goals, right? This isn't in my script, but what is it? It's specific, measurable, attainable, is it realistic, and time-based, right? You need that in your plan. If you don't know any of those factors, right, it's not a good goal. It's just a wish, right? What is it? A dream without a plan is a wish, right? I'm quoting now, but you guys get the point. As always, a massive shout out and thank you to my sponsors. Didn't mention any of them in this video because it's not specifically about botting. But as you get into this and go down the rabbit hole that is sneaker botting and sneaker reselling, there are a lot of resources you need, right? Bots, proxies, servers, right? Accounts, virtual credit cards, AYCD, bot rentals, right? Like, there's a ton of stuff. If you need any of that and you're worried about getting scammed or dealing with non-reputable companies, just check out the information section below. I firmly stand by every company down there that I work with, and those are the resources that I really use. So like I said, definitely check them out and let me know if you got any questions on that. And per usual, I'm more than happy to help you all out with anything you guys need. And just a couple updates. I will have another video up in a couple days. I'm gonna try to do a video on what I would personally do with a budget if I was starting off now. So like, I'll do what I would do if I had a $500 budget for sneaker reselling and botting, what I would do with like a $1,000 budget, 2.5K, 5K, to try to give some more specific and actionable advice to some of y'all, and to try to get more specific about situations, because I know it can be hard to apply the things I'm saying when everybody's situation is different, right? I'm fully aware of that. And the other thing, just to bring up real quick, from what I've heard, there are gonna be more Yeezys dropping on the 24th of June. I do not know if it's gonna be another marathon of a day. I don't know if my heart and my mind can handle that. You know, I'll be up the whole time and I will handle it, but geez, I'm getting old for that. But whatever, just know that is possible. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to be a marathon of a day with a bunch of drops. I don't know if it's going to be a couple. I don't know if it's going to be one. I'll put out a quick video when I hear more, and right before that, to help you all get prepared. I'm going to try to do more videos on like specifics heading into drops, just to try to give you all more help. And you know, just try to do my best, like I said, to provide content that I needed when I was starting off, and that I know I would have benefited from and would have expedited the learning process for me personally. Anyways, thanks for watching. You know, if you want to hear from me on a daily basis on reselling, just follow me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, any of those. I've got the information for those accounts in the information section below. And other than that, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it was helpful. Like I said, per usual, just let me know if you got any questions. Always here to help. And other than that, just check back in the next couple days. Like I said, I'll have another video up. And until next time, see ya.